The middle of the Dallas Cowboys defense. It's been a problem. A real one. And what if I told you the solution might already be out there? Hidden in plain sight. Waiting in the 2026 NFL Draft. But here's the twist. This isn't your typical linebacker story. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this video with every Cowboys fan you know. Because if you care about the future of this defense, you don't want to miss what's coming next. So let's talk about a name that's starting to gain serious traction. Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech Red Raiders. At first glance, he doesn't scream, future NFL star. He wasn't a five-star recruit. He didn't dominate headlines early in his career. In fact, he didn't even start as a linebacker. Yeah, you heard that right. Rodriguez began his college journey as a quarterback at Virginia Cavaliers. Think about that for a second. A QB, turning into the heart of a defense. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because what happened next will surprise you. After transferring to Texas Tech, Rodriguez made a full switch to linebacker. And at first, it wasn't pretty. Learning a completely new position. Adjusting to the speed, the physicality, the mental side of defense. But then, something clicked. Fast forward to 2024, his breakout year. 127 tackles. 10.5 tackles for loss. 5 sacks. Turnovers everywhere. And then in 2025, he didn't just improve, he exploded. 128 tackles. Led the entire Big 12. 7 forced fumbles, best in the nation. 4 interceptions. Defensive touchdowns. Game-changing plays week after week. Let me ask you something. When was the last time the Cowboys had a linebacker who could do all of that? Exactly. And here's where it gets even crazier. Rodriguez became the only FBS player since 2005 to record 300-plus tackles, 10-plus forced fumbles, 5-plus interceptions, and 5-plus fumble recoveries in a career. That's not just production. That's rare. That's instinct. That's a playmaker. But stats alone don't tell the full story. Turn on the tape, and you see a linebacker who processes the game at an elite level. He diagnoses plays instantly. He reacts fast. He doesn't hesitate. He attacks. And that's exactly what this Cowboys defense has been missing in the middle. A true tone setter. A guy who flies downhill, shuts down the run, and creates chaos behind the line of scrimmage. But, and this is important, he's not perfect. At 6 feet 1 inch, 231 pounds, Rodriguez is undersized compared to traditional NFL Mike linebackers. Big offensive linemen can get their hands on him and neutralize him. Sometimes, his aggression leads to missed tackles or bad angles. And in coverage, he's solid, but not elite. You don't want him isolated against the league's shiftiest weapons. So now the big question becomes, would he actually fit in Dallas? And the answer might surprise you. In today's NFL, defenses live in nickel packages. Speed matters more than size. Processing matters more than brute strength. And Rodriguez? He thrives in that environment. Imagine him playing behind an aggressive defensive front. Clean, free to read, free to react, free to attack. That's where he becomes dangerous. That's where he becomes a problem for offenses. And that's why his pro comparison, Robert Spillane, actually makes a lot of sense. A high-motor, instinct-driven linebacker who always seems to be around the ball. Now let's zoom out for a second. The Cowboys are sitting in a very interesting position heading into the 2026 draft. They've got talent. They've got stars. But the middle of that defense? It still feels incomplete. And that's why a player like Jacob Rodriguez could be the missing piece. Not the flashiest pick. Not the biggest name. But the kind of player who changes how a defense feels. Physical. Smart. Relentless. The kind of guy who racks up 10 tackles like it's nothing, and then punches the ball out when it matters most. And here's something you need to think about. He's currently projected around the mid-second round. So the question is, do the Cowboys wait and hope he falls? Or do they go get their guy? Because if another team grabs him first, this could be one of those we should have taken him moments. And Cowboys fans, you've seen how those stories end. Now before we wrap this up, let me ask you, do you think Jacob Rodriguez is the answer at linebacker? Or should Dallas look for a bigger, more traditional player? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you're enjoying this kind of deep dive Cowboys content, make sure you subscribe right now and hit that like button, because we've got a lot more draft breakdowns coming, and trust me, the next one might be even bigger. Because there's another prospect, another name, that could completely change the future of this team. And you're not going to want to miss it.